The result is in. The headlines are printed. The victory posts are already up on social media, dressed with the right emojis and hollow words. The boards will call it a success, the broadcasters will call it entertainment, and the sponsors, well, they'll call it money well spent. But let's be honest, what we just witnessed wasn't a contest, it was a cover-up.
Only advice from my side to the players will be that we just go out and win the game. That's more important rather than block everything away, because when you're playing at this professional level, everybody is a professional player and you are expected to give you more than 100%.
This wasn't about cricket. This was about power, politics and profit. It was about a board so desperate to protect its bottom line that it sold the very dignity of the game it claims to safeguard. They thought they could wrap it all up in a neat package, deliver us some boundaries, some fireworks, and hope we would swallow the rest without any complaint.
Enough is enough, ladies and gentlemen. If this is the case, then I would like to say, #this is not my cricket board.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are not here to debate. We are not here to sugarcoat. The controversy isn't brewing, it's overflowing. The anger is real and the questions are louder than the cheers. And the story? Well, the story is no longer about who won or who lost the match. The story is about who lost their integrity long before the first ball was even bowled. So let's talk about the only question that matters. How could this happen? How could the guardians of the game betray the very people they're supposed to serve? And then, with a straight face, they expect us to clap for them. To understand why that match was so profoundly wrong, we have to go back to the beginning. The Pahalgam attack. On April 22, 2025, Pakistan-based terrorists opened fire in Baisaran Valley. 26 people were murdered. Tourists, families, people who had simply come to enjoy Kashmir's beauty. It was a cowardly, senseless act that shattered lives and left the nation in grief.
On 22nd April, at least 26 people were killed and many injured after terrorists opened fire on tourists in Jammu and Kashmir.
And during that time, we looked across the borders. We waited to hear something. Anything, a word of sympathy, a post of condolences. But there was nothing. None of their official accounts said a word. None of their players, none of their celebrities. No words upon the death. Just nothing. But soon after, the silence was vanished. Because when the Indian army struck back, launching Operation Sindoor to dismantle terror camps in Pakistan, the response from across the border was loud, mocking and cruel. Suddenly there were posts. Suddenly there were comments. Suddenly there were endless words, not for the innocent life lost, but for the retaliations. They started making jokes. They started throwing insults. We cannot forget the names our army was called, the casual mockery of an operation born out of sacrifice and blood. A disgusting image went viral, circulated by the Pakistani cricketers themselves, an image showing their army chief applying sindoor to a woman draped in Indian tricolour. Not satire, not humour, but a deliberate insult to our soldiers and to the Operation Sindoor. And it didn't stop there. Players like Shahid Afridi on television programs went as far as to claim that India killed its own people and then puts the blame on Pakistan. Think about that. 26 of our people killed in cold blood. And the response was not sympathy, it was mockery. Not dignity, it was denial. This wasn't a rivalry. This wasn't banter. This was a calculated assault on grief, on sacrifice, and on our dignity as a nation. And that is why the silence and the scorn can never be forgotten. So after everything, the grief, the outrage, the heartbreak, what did the BCCI do? Did they listen? Did they stand up for the dignity, for the victims, for the families who were shattered? No, of course not. They put their players on a plane off to Dubai to play against a team whose top stars had openly mocked the death of 26 innocent civilians. And do you want to hear the official line? Our hands are tied. It's a multi-nation tournament. Rules are rules. Rules. Rules that ignore grief, mockery, and nation's outrage. Rules that treat public dignity as optional but broadcast contrast as sacred. That's pathetic, predictable, and a masterclass in corporate cowardice. Meanwhile, the people were on streets, from Mumbai to Delhi, from small towns to city centers. They demanded justice, respect, and decency. They chanted slogans, held up banners, and refused to stay silent. Their voices were loud, clear, and angry. Boycott the match because dignity comes first. Pakistan Murdabad. These weren't just ordinary citizens. Family of the Pahalgam victims came forward. They spoke about the heartbreak, about how impossible it felt to watch BCCI's decision while they were still mourning their children, their parents, their loved ones. One family even came forward and said it very bluntly. We are still in grief and they chose to play. Their voices were clear, their pain unmistakable. And yet the BCCI acted as if none of this matters.
22 अप्रैल को जो जघन्य नरसंहार हुआ उसको इन लोगों द्वारा भुला दिया गया है, बीसीसीआई द्वारा भुला दिया गया है।
सो इस मैच के बाद सबसे बड़ी तस्वीर तो ये होगी कि पाकिस्तान के पास वापस पैसा होगा, पाकिस्तान वापस से खड़ा होगा, पाकिस्तान के उन जो ठिकाने हम ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के समय तोड़े गए थे वो वापस बनेंगे।
And here's the real sting. Even the government stayed silent. Yes, the authorities who could have stepped in, who could have said this will not happen, did nothing. If the government had acted, if they had drawn a line, the BCCI would have followed. Operation Sindoor could have felt completed. The strike, the precision, the blood and sacrifice, it could have all felt the victory in every sense. A moment of justice. But silence from the top allowed the BCCI to ignore the nation's voice, to put the business contracts and the rules above heartbreak and dignity. The BCCI claims they had no choice. They say they were bound by the rules and contracts. Really? Let's rewind a few months. Do you remember the World Champions of Legends? That very tournament that happened after the Pahalgam attack? Our Indian legends, Shikhar Dhawan, Yuvraj Singh, Harbhajan Singh were part of this tournament. They were all set to play. The stadium was ready, the fans were ready, and then a Pakistani player, Shahid Afridi, in a press conference uttered a few words that were so arrogant, so utterly dismissive that our players walked away.
इंडिया के स्मूथ से खेलेगा लेकिन खेलेगा हमारे साथ।
Our legends, our own heroes said no. They understood what was at stake. They knew that people across India were protesting. They listened and they took a stand. That match was cancelled. A powerful public statement was made and the world understood it. The match is over, but the grief, that's still raw. Families of Pahalgam victims are still mourning. Citizens are still asking, was this really necessary? And the BCCIs, they say they had no choice. But come on, really? That's what passes for a defense. A nation's heartbreak, our soldiers being mocked, protest on the street, and the excuse is, we had to. The match went on. The money was counted. The scoreboard shows a game. But the real score? Dignity left on sideline. And the people, we are still here, still grieving, still asking the very same question. So now, I want to know what you guys think. Was this the only way it could have happened? Or did we just watch the courage, respect and dignity get sidelined for convenience and contracts? Let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you found this video eye-opening or even just made you think, please do your part. Like, comment and subscribe. Keep the conversation alive because if we stay silent, nothing changes.